Here's my very professional workbench setup here. I've got my Pentium 1000 and a couple of upgrades I want to give it. I've got this USB 2.0 4-port card, and then in this box is a GeForce 6200 128 megabyte. And if I go over here, and there's the 80 gigabyte hard drive. I had it set in a drawer and I didn't realize it. So I think these three things combined with everything else in the computer is gonna push this to its absolute limit, as far as this computer will be able to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the camera setup a little bit here and get these two boxes opened. Here's the USB 2.0 box. So I'll go ahead and get this thing opened up here without damaging it if possible. Well, there it is. Go ahead and get this thing out here. And there's the card itself. So this will allow me to actually transport files onto this computer through USB without taking 600 years. Got a driver CD here, which I don't think I'll need because I'm going to be installing XP Service Pack 2 onto it and then upgrading it to Service Pack 3, so I'm not sure that I'll even need this. Here's a little guide to it here. Shows you how to install the card. And there is some of the original information about it in barcodes. This is probably going to go on my wall for whatever reason. And there it is, so that'll be much better than what I've been having to deal with the two integrated USB 1.1 ports on this computer. Here's the box which contains the GeForce 6200. So go ahead and undo these two here. Box has got just a little bit of glue on it here. Looks like it's also got some tape on the sides. I really did not want this coming open in any way. Ah, there it is. And there is the GeForce 6200, which it is extremely clean. I see barely any dust in that heatsink. I mean, there's a little bit, but really not that much. I'm not sure if this is ESD safe foam or not. I don't think it's really gonna matter though. It'll still probably work just fine. I've thrown cards in drawers, and I've put motherboards just in cardboard boxes without anything else. I've thrown entire motherboards in drawers, and they still do really good. They work just fine. Because I am currently out of isopropyl alcohol, I am going to test this card just to see, how the fan sounds and everything else. But I'm not actually going to be installing or using it until I can get some more isopropyl alcohol and get the thermal paste changed in here, because I am sure after 20 years that it's probably not doing so good anymore. I don't even know what the PCB date on this card is. 48th week of 2005, so just shy of 20 years old. About 19 years old. And I don't think thermal paste is meant to last that long and still work effectively. So this is going to be something for another day. But for today, I'm definitely going to be installing this USB 2.0 card. And then once I get this set up completely with new thermal paste, that's when I'm going to put in the 80 gigabyte hard drive and push it fully to about its max. Here's the test bench I'm going to use to test that GeForce 6200. Go ahead and get it back out of my drawer here. Get it installed in the motherboard. Need to make sure that the PCI end is over that. There we go. I'll go ahead and plug in the video card. And I should have a little loose power cable here. There it is. Now this is the point at which I cross my fingers and jump the power button leads. And we got display, so the card does indeed work. So the thing with this computer is that there are 5 screws and the entire top has to come off, which I find really irritating. If I just take these out real quick. Kind of awkward trying to do this with a tripod right in front of me. Not used to doing it that way. So get all those off of there. Get it upright. And then it comes open. So I've attempted to get this at an angle where you can see what I'm actually doing here. I'll put that one USB 2 card back in the box just to keep it safe while I was recording. So I'll go ahead and get it out there. There it is. I'll go ahead and install the card. And At this point, it is completely maxed out. With PCI cards, it can take no more. See if I can't get this lined up here. There we go. Take a look at it, make sure. Yeah, it's in there. Screw that thing back in and drop the screw onto the motherboard as I do it. And there it is, it's in there. That card will eventually be the GeForce 6200. I believe it should be a fair bit faster than this Radeon 9250. The FX 5500s were a bit expensive, so I didn't want to go for that when a 6200, from what research I did, because I've owned a 6200 before. I owned one of the ones that had the 512 megabyte memory option, but normally had 256 megabytes of VRAM, and it took that extra 256 out of the system memory. That one did pretty good, though the system memory part of it probably was very, very slow and inefficient. But I've never had an FX 5500 before, so I don't know exactly how fast they are or how fast they aren't. But I do know at least that the 6200 will be faster than the 9250. I'll go ahead and demonstrate why this case is so difficult to close. So there are clips on the inside of there. If I can get it to where you can even see the ones at the top. There's clips at the top. And you have to line all of these up with the correct places inside the case, otherwise it will not seat properly. So I have to push down on both the top and the sides at the same time, and sometimes I have to reattempt this one or two times to actually get it to go on there correctly. And then I have to pull the bottom towards the front. And I did not get the other side right. This is why. Oh, come on. Did I finally get it? I believe I did, unless the top is... No, I got it. I actually got it on there. It is not easy. Now I'll go ahead and get the case screwed back on there, the case cover. So I have to push this part of it this way to line it upright so that the screw goes in and all the other screws are generally aligned. But then, with the other screws, I have to do the same thing on the bottom parts as well. They definitely did not make this to be opened very often. Right, we got the bottom parts there. And now that the case is actually back on there, I get to repeat this process when I get more isopropyl alcohol. And I get to remove the hard drive and the other thing and then have to put this thing back on there again. I've got the Pentium 3 1000 booted here. If we go into Device Manager, you can see that the drivers for the USB 2.0 card were already in XP. And in fact, I don't think that CD is for any version of XP, because here it says that the driver was made in 2001. So I'm guessing that means that that CD is just for Windows 98 SE or maybe Windows 2000, though I would wager that Windows 2000 even has a generic default driver it can use for this. So it's possible that the CD has some utilities on it or something that would make it better, but I'm just using this card to transfer files on USB flash drives. I'm not doing anything too extreme with it, so I don't think it'll matter.